So I got a call from this family, and they were telling me how they have a very, very bad situation, but we have an amazing relationship. We have a great relationship with our kid. What could you teach us? Flashback. A couple of years ago, a family came to me and they said, we have a great relationship with our kid, and which is amazing. This was a Chassidish family, so this boy went off the derech, the whole spiral, you know how painful it is. And, the payas start thinning out, and all of a sudden it's just like, a few strings, and the beard starts, and then all of a sudden you find out that the phone was on Shabbos. That whole spiral is so painful, and they were never merachik the kid. They didn't ruin the relationship at all with him. Amazing people. Both parents, very edel, very sweet, never criticized, and somehow they didn't ruin the relationship at all. Then the snip, it's gone. They go by accident to the barber. Oh, he cut off one by accident. There's like one barber that always cuts off a payas by accident. And then, so I had to do the other one, and then you find out this, and then all of a sudden you're living with a Machal Shabbos B'Frehesia and Treif and the whole thing. And they said, we have a great relationship with our kid. What are you going to teach us? So they came here, and they came to group every week, and they did the 2-day training, they did the group, they read the manual, and a couple of months later, the kid opened up and said, I always used to feel like I'm living in a hotel. Everybody was nice to me. You come down to the lobby and they say, good morning, sir. What can I get you, sir? Everybody was nice to me. I felt like it wasn't home. Lately, I feel like I have a home. What changed? Everything. Not that they were being mean and they went from fighting and screaming to being nice. No, they went from being nice to being parents of a kip. They got trained to have eyes to look deeper. The Chazon Ish says that when you have a child who's not frum, especially add on, usually not frum, comes from pain, and there's other issues, which you need to do it even more. But even if it's just not frum, he says, Yinasu l'mashcham ba'avoisais ahava v'loy l'tchaisam chalila. 7 words that you all know by heart, and it's tattooed into kasvei maluach libecha. This is our direction. This way and not this way. 7 words. Yinasu l'mashcham, try to pull them in, ba'avoisais ahava, in Hebrew, ba'avotot ahava, with ropes of love, but then he says, and not this way. And don't reject them, which answers all of our questions. Why can't I just say, look at their face, look at their heart, you'll see rejection, then you can't do it. And what changed over the last 20, 30 years is kids are more and more and more and more truly sensitive. 30 years ago, a kid went off the derech and he said, listen, I'm not going to bother you about what you do outside, but in the house, can you wear a yarmulke? They would say, good deal. Now they're like, you don't accept me. I want you to accept me. They're dying and they say specifically, and I get so many calls, can you believe this kid? Not only they want acceptance. They want me to pay for the miniskirt. You want exactly what is the medicine, actually, and thank God they want it, because otherwise we don't have the medicine. In any case, light l'tchaisam chalila. Don't reject them. And what changed is that the feeling of rejection, as I always say, rejection is in the heart of the beholder. You don't get to decide that you didn't do anything worthwhile of rejection. The person feels rejected, you rejected them, you're over on going against what the Chazon Ish said, Paisik of nobody argues in the Chazon Ish, and it's not going to make your life or anybody's life better. So if what they're going to feel is rejection, which they're so hyper, super sensitive that sometimes it's just the littlest thing, and you're like, what did I do? It was negative. If you always smile and you always compliment, you're not going to have that problem. But is not being nice. It's a very, very deep NKN. It's a kesher nafshi. It's a nafshay kshura benafshay. It's a deep, deep, deep connection to influence somebody without physically moving them, but changing their mindset to pull them in. So if you're just being nice, that's not TP. That's not the medicine. The medicine is avoisais ahava. And a lot of times the kids are blocking you because something unnatural happened, that from the time they're born, that all they want is mommy and daddy. We didn't understand them, and we got bad advice, and a lot of you paid a lot of money for the bad advice, rules, consequences, and boundaries, and they don't trust us. So the whole intro, before even doing the CPR of TP, the CPR of saving lives of avoisais ahava, the intro is to get out of the negative. is to undo the damage, to get through those walls that we built, not our fault, because nobody taught us differently, because people don't know, although people are getting smarter and smarter, yes. Baruch Hashem, people are getting better information earlier on and saving their kids, yes. Avoisei Sahav, you have to learn what it is. And if you're not doing it, you're not doing Ratzon Hashem to save your child. So that means every morning, every night, every afternoon, every day, you have to be thinking, what does Hashem want from me? Avoisei Sahava, to save my child and generations. Nobody else can do it like you. Nobody else can do it besides mom and dad. And we have a lot of times that one of the parents, I don't want to say which one, could be any of them, fathers, who they're not involved. What do you mean? Hashem said, through the Chazon Ish, Yunasu l'mashchem b'avoisei sahava. The mother buys the gifts and writes a long letter and writes, love mommy and daddy. That does nothing for your relationship with the father. Or sometimes we do have occasionally the reverse, right? Where the father's doing everything, right? And writes, love daddy and mommy. They know, it's kamayim apanim, it's all going, they know you didn't. Imagine you take off work to go and I know you like this, and you do stuff for them, and you go shopping, and you start to learn what they like, and you develop a really deep, real relationship with this kid. And I'm thinking, so many parents, I think like they really can't stand this advice. But like, what would you rather? You want to pay thousands and $10,000s of dollars to other people to do it, and it's what are we asking you to do? It's fun. Have fun with your kids. Each step deeper and deeper and deeper. Get rid of the bad past. Apologize. Take out the knives. That's what I call it. Follow that. Build a system. Think about, where am I going tomorrow night with my kid? When's the last time I went out? 3 days ago? What am I doing tomorrow? As much as they'll go with you. Ball games, trips. We have parents, great complexions all year round. So you end up, Hashem is forcing you to be in Cancun. Nah, you've done, how many trips did you do with your kid? 1 million. Look at 6. 6, and you did 1? Okay? You constantly do. Why? Because you nasu l'mashcham ba'avoisei sahava. And don't let anything block that. You need a psak from the biggest paisik in the world to tell you to block you nasu l'mashcham ba'avoisei sahava. You don't need a heter. You need a heter not to do it. And I haven't found anything. Of course, if something's usher, we don't do it. But what people think is usher is not usher. I've never gotten a no from any paisik on an idea that I had. And that's why every family, I always say this so people know, each of you have your own paisik, and if there's a question of halacha or hashkafa, the 4 of us get on the phone. We discuss the situation, what my advice is, and if the paisik says no, we don't do it. But I've never gotten a no, because I know what the parameters are. Okay, so we have to know that we're not talking about being nice. We're not talking about existing together without criticism. We're talking about building avoisei ahava, and once you learn how to do it on all your kids. And do it on everybody you know. Because it's just unbelievable how upgraded your life will be. And if you can't do it, that means that something happened to you that's unnatural. Unnatural. Because Avram hugged and kissed Yitzchak, and Yitzchak hugged and kissed Yaakov, and Yaakov hugged and kissed, Yosef and everybody. It was never a thing. I don't hug. That's Holocaust trauma or your own personal trauma. So if you can't do it, you go to therapy because your kid is drowning. And every day that the kid drowns, they're open to, first of all, it's harder to get them back the longer it is, and you don't know what sharks are going to be in the sea. Right? They could end up in all kinds of terrible situations. And they're dying for our love, Baruch Hashem. And you're not going to give it. I had a father that could said, Mamash was almost 2 years. He said, I can't hug. I said, Chas v'shalom, Rachmana litzlan. I don't even want to say, Al tiftach peh, by the levaya, then you're going to wish you could hug. What are you waiting for? You can't hug your kid. You can't go like that and go like that. That's unnatural. Unnatural. That's against nature. If it's against your, some chassidim, don't, whatever, ask your paisik if your kid is in the hospital, if you shouldn't go give them a hug. We had a very big paisik from a very, very, very chassidish community that told a brother to hug his sister. Chassidim don't, a lot of people don't do that. Most people don't, whatever. Okay, you're not supposed to do that. In that situation, he said, you hug your sister. Hatzalah sees somebody fall down the flight of stairs. You go and you lift them up. So you need hadracha for that. But open your mind and make sure that all the siblings and the aunts and the uncles understand that the medicine for this machla on any level, if we want to see them heal, to become happy, functional, healthy, frum, to build a bayis nama b'Yisrael, to give you Yiddish anachas, to give Hashem Yiddish anachas, right? The medicine is your showering love on the kid. And how that gets ruined because the therapist said that by the Goyim they say you can't enable. So then you stop the respirator, you detach from the kid because you see it rejects them, and that's more important than the Chazon Ish. So they say, okay, but what about drugs, whatever? I've talked about it in the past. But the bottom line is, people do it even just with Yiddishkeit. If you're not going to live like us, we can't look at you. We can't stand you. You can't live here. All of that is going against the Chazon Ish. And we're doing it in the name of Torah. In the name of Torah. Father said, I can't make a bracha. It's an erva. Her hair's not uncovered. She was married and got divorced, and she's off the derech. She doesn't cover her hair. It's an erva. I can't make a bracha. Ask your Rav. You're going to do l'tchaisam, chalila, and you're not going to do yinasu l'mashcha ma'avayis ahava. So he said, you can't. So she stopped coming around. So every Shabbos that she would have been by him, having good food and coming back closer and closer and getting a hashpah, influence of Avayis Ahava was ruined for years because I can't make a bracha. So he finally spoke to his Rav. His Rav said, close your eyes. When you make Kiddush, close your eyes. And then you don't have a problem. It's not erva is not a problem of distance. You could be next to an erva. You can't be next to something that smells, but you can be next to erva, close your eyes. Oh, I didn't realize. Oh, really? So you didn't realize, so you didn't ask your Rav, and you lost connection, and you went against the mainstream. The main idea is you do everything to be connected unless you get upset that you're not allowed to. From somebody who knows, and if you want to test, if the person knows the parsha, ask them, what did the Chazon Ish say about giving a car to someone, to a kid, who said, I'm going to drive on Shabbos? If they don't know that, they don't know the Inyan. Which is fine. Most Rabbanim, if you ask them a halacha on money, they say, Chashem Mishpat is not, I'm not a pasuk for that. When it comes to this, a lot of people, they start saying opinions. The really humble ones say, that's not my specialty, right? Go to the special Rabbanim who understand Chayla Nefesh, who knew how to paskin. Make sure that the person you're going to for a psak authentically understands the sugya.